Yes.
Let's see the clock from here. We have them.
6 o'clock.
Have to change the clock so that we can see it.
You can see it on your laptop, bottom right corner.
But I like watching that one.
You like the hands?
Everybody ready? Evening, everybody. I call this meeting to order. We stand and place your hand over your heart for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As required by Montana law, members of the community are given an opportunity to make brief comments to the board on any matters not included in the agenda. Individuals wishing to be heard shall first be recognized by the chairperson. Individuals, after identifying themselves, will proceed to make brief comments. The board would like to remind everyone to avoid violations of individual rights and privacy. A member of the public wishing to address the board will not be allowed to make comments about any student, staff member, or member of the general public. No action may be taken on any matter discussed during the public comment portion of the meeting until such time as the matter is specifically noticed on an agenda and the public has been allowed the opportunity to comment. So we have a list of distinguished attendees tonight. Does anyone have any public comment? Mary Ellen, can you hear me okay?
I can, thank you.
Is that better? Can everyone hear me? Perfect.
Did we put this in just for you?
Is it the microphones or I'm trying to project my voice?
It
All
could
right.
be both.
Hearing no public comment, move on to student and staff recognition with Leslie Atkinson.
Good evening. I'm Leslie Atkinson, Public Information Officer, and I would like to introduce John from Montana State University.
Morning or good evening, board members. First, I'd like to start by asking if I can waive the requirement not to talk about teachers.
Yes.
Thank you. Every semester, MSU prepares new teachers for our state and quite honestly, around the country. Here in Belgrade, Bozeman, we send our teachers everywhere. We can't do that without your help. And our teachers in the Belgrade and Bozeman area have opened their doors semester after semester to hosting practicum students and student teachers. And I'm not sure if you're aware of the thank you that we give them. For student teaching, it's a huge stipend, $250 for 15 weeks of 40 hours a week. It works out to about 24 cents an hour. We've done the math. And for practicum, we don't pay them anything. They just graciously keep working with us every semester. One of the things that we ask our students to do when they come back is to tell us some of the great experiences that they've had. And our students are able to nominate outstanding and inspiring educators for an award from MSU. This semester it happens that both our secondary and middle school awards are here in Belgrade. And so we came tonight to publicly recognize 2 teachers. So I'll go first and then Jenny Moore, who's also in our office, will be doing the second one. The first one I don't think is here. Oh, she just got here, saved by the bell. So I would like to present an award to Katie Burkhart as our middle school inspiring Bobcat mentor teacher for fall or for spring 2024.
Well, I was trying to get the voice of the Bobcats to announce this and he graciously passed and he's gonna let me do it. So the last one of these I gave out was in an auditorium full of kids. and they did a drum roll and they did a cymbal. I like that. But, whoa, promises already. Okay, but the next award, which is for 9/12, Outstanding Bobcat Mentor Award goes to Rebecca Vondra.
Could kindly have all of our MSU guests. Do you, sorry. you speaking?
Oh, just was going to say thank you. Yeah, absolutely. As the instructor for the student teaching seminar, just want to thank the support of the Belgrade School District and our wonderful teachers and students.
Like to take a picture with our MSU guests, our two winners, and our superintendent and board chair, please.
Right, I'd just like to thank all the trustees, the staff, the parents and the students in the community for a tremendous school year. We wrapped it up last Friday and are excited for our students who are off to enjoy a summer and for our teachers who have a well-deserved break. And for the rest of us who work year-round to get ready for the next school year. And we started in earnest today. So thanks to everyone for making it a really successful year. I have some information in the superintendent's report in our board meeting packet, so you're welcome to review that. Our long-range facility planning team met last Monday to discuss next steps with our continued need to build a fourth elementary school and to renovate our aging middle school. Some of the things that we discussed, the $20 million in bonding authority that we already have, but that has not, the bonds haven't been sold, has to be spent to build an elementary school on the new 60 acres. There's nothing else. We can't renovate the heck and claw buildings with it. We can't do anything else because of the wording in that original bond. 20 million could potentially build about a 200 student elementary school on the new property if we just move forward with using the money that the voters have already allocated. An additional 20 to 25 million would be needed to complete that project to make it a 550 student school, which would be comparable to our other elementary schools and would allow us to move the fifth graders back into elementary. The middle school option, separating that out from the elementary portion would cost between 32 and 36 million just as a separate job. And based on the condition needs assessment we recently completed, that fifth grade wing in the middle school has about $3.5 million in deferred maintenance. And 1.5 million of that is considered urgent and would need to be done in the next year or two. So we're taking a look at that. We also had a great discussion. The city manager was here and we reopened the conversation of the potential of doing a land swap. with the city. The school district would receive the land that the city hall is on and the old library, and they own a few of the houses on that property. And an additional property of 10 or more acres that would allow us to build a full-size elementary school, meaning 550 students. And we would swap that for these two properties. The city's very interested in this building for the police department, the safety building, because they have outgrown their current space and will have a hard time fitting into the old library because the city's growing so fast. So they would really love to have this building to do that. And then they would have the ability to move their offices into the complex across the street. They have the ability to renovate the Qua building, which at this time we don't have the $17 to $20 million that it would cost to renovate it. And so, we do have concerns about that building falling into disrepair if we can't find the ability to do that within the next 5 to 10 years. So interesting conversation. We'll be moving forward with gathering some more information on that, and then we'll be talking openly and, with welcoming comments about the concept of it as we move forward. Yeah.
Could clarify that 10 or more acres is future school needs that we project that we'll need to build out the district. It's not for the immediate.
Right, thank
use. So
you.
it's like, I know Manhattan has land and Bozeman has land. It brings us up into the, we have land people.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's, we have the 60 acres. Eventually, if we become a city of 30,000 people, we're going to need a 5th elementary school. We don't project that happening for 10 to 15 years, but we need to have the land to do that when we're ready. And obviously, it's not going to help us to build 2 elementary schools on the 60 acres. We need to have that land separate and apart from. And these 2 blocks are problematic because you have a road separating them. So we can't build a 550 student school that doesn't require a road crossing. So it's a safety issue. That's why the voters voted in 2019 to stop using these 2 buildings as a school. So yeah, thank you. Any other questions about that? We provided a data summary. So the data is all in, like I said, you can access it through our website. We looked at 3 main areas: academic achievement, attendance, and behavior. Those are the 3 main areas we've been focused on this year. Our academic achievement showed mixed results across the district. We actually had some really good data in 2nd grade, which is our kind of bubble grade. It's our largest class. It has 288 students. And typically our classes are average about 255. It's the class that kind of came up during COVID, and a lot of people decided to hold their kindergartners out till the next year. And these are kids in this class. So positives and some things to work on in that data. Grades K to 8 collect data 3 times a year using the FastBridge assessment. High school reported their ACT test scores, which are given in the 11th grade. Our state test, we don't have data from that because it was a pilot this year. And attendance data, the trends in all the schools were up. We were very pleased to see that. We have had that as a focus for a little more than a year. The average across the district was 90.47. Our highest school, the winner, was Saddle Peak Elementary School. Woo! And then the high school, that was at 92.19. The high school had the most challenges. They were at 87.85. Last year, our overall attendance rate was 88.73%, and this year it was 90.47. So we're headed in the right direction. Both academic goals and attendance goals and then behavior goals are all going to be on the individual school action plans that I'll talk about in just a second. We collected behavior data, but we don't have a good K-12 plan for how we're collecting that data consistently. So I don't have good, high quality data where you can compare apples to apples. And so that is one of our goals for 24-25 is at this time next year to have a better system in place about all the behavior data going into Infinite Campus so that we can access it the same way for reports. You'll also see an example in the board packet about for the school improvement plan template for 24-25. We met with the middle school and the high school to create drafts of that. So we'll have baseline data for the 3 areas: academic achievement in reading and math, attendance and behavior. So baseline data for all 3. We'll have action steps for how we're going to improve that, and then what the goals are for what that data should look like at this time next year. And then also kind of 5-year goals. 5 years from now, we want the data to be here. So how do we work backwards from that? So we're working on creating drafts of those templates now. When school comes back into session in August, the school advisory council team, so like a leadership team at each school, will spend time in September looking at those plans, revising them, adding to them, and completing them, and then we'll bring them back to the board, probably at the October board meeting. So that's what we got. Any questions about that?
Thanks for putting that data in there.
Sure.
I really like seeing that.
Mhm,
And I'm kind of anxious to see what you're going to do with it going forward.
mhm. We are too. We have good plans.
All right.
The high school and middle school have great ideas already, and the teachers haven't even had time to process this end of year data. So over the summer and in August and the beginning of September, a lot of work will happen too, to say, this was our data, what are we going to do next? And we'll add add those action steps into the plans.
Anything else you'd like to add?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, student representative report. I don't believe we have one yet. Where did Shannon go? So I believe we'll skip that. District Clerk, Carrie Fisher.
I put my report in there. I think the most exciting thing is that starting in July, we are going to go to twice a month payroll, which has been a goal since I started a few years ago, which I just finished my 3rd school year, which is crazy. Doesn't seem like it's been that long. So, but that's very exciting news. We got good feedback from a lot of people that we were doing this. So the payroll department is the ones that get the pat on the back though, man. I brought it up and they researched it, and a week later came back and said, we're ready. We could do it July 1. And I was like, seriously? So, and we've been meeting weekly, and today we had a meeting and they're on board, they're on track, and everything's going well. They haven't run into any snags yet in the implementation. So we're pretty excited about that. I will be gone the rest of the week at MASBO. Thomas and I get to present at MASBO. Him and some of the people on his team are going as well. So we're kind of excited about that. And then I put new preliminary budget data sheets in your packet because we had some changes in A and B from the fall at the high school level. So there was a minor change, and then also our quality educator payment was wrong on our first ones because they didn't include the teachers that were a part of their first 3 years with the district. And so they did include that now. So our data sheets are correct as far as I can tell, unless something different comes up. So I wanted to include that in there for you guys. So basically what it equates to is between the elementary and the high school, we've got about $299,000 in new money. And we all know from when we did negotiations and stuff last year, and we talked about all those raises and everything with all of the different groups, where we're looking at over $600,000 that would increase for us. So we've been working on that very diligently, trying to figure out how to make that balance. This may be one of those years where we're hoping we don't have to, but we may have to dip into our multi-district agreement a little bit next year. Just knowing that we have another negotiations coming up. We have different things that we're working on as a district moving forward. So we budget for every employee that we plan on working, but as we all know, the last few years, we haven't been able to fill all those positions. So that's why I'm saying we may have to dip into it and we may not. If we can't fill all the positions, we may be okay. Mary? Just kidding. It's a lot of special ed positions and they're not all covered by grants. So, but that's the bulk of them, that and custodial. So seems to be where have the most openings. So do you guys have any questions for me?
Just like to say thank you for finally getting payroll twice a month. It's going to make life a lot easier for our teachers. It's been a long time coming.
Yes. We'll be one of the first ones in the Gallatin County too. So look for people to follow us and try to be like Belgrade.
Okay, anything else?
I put in there that they got stuff going, getting ready for legislative session, so we're not getting totally into the stuff because it's been changing frequently, but just keep an eye on that in your MTSBA stuff. They got a lot of proposals coming up to change the funding formula for all the schools. Plus, on top of that is that 10-year review for schools and school funding. And so kind of have two things going on at once there. And I'm not sure how it's gonna completely play out, but there is a lot of big changes they're proposing. Taking it away from the A and B, putting less weight on student enrollment and more on FTE and teachers. So.
We rely on MTSBA to advocate. For all this.
They do a lot of advocating for the schools.
Do you feel there's any need for us as a district to step in and share some of our experiences? Do you think that would help?
Oh, yeah.
I know Rocky had mentioned something along those lines to me last week.
I think it would be great. We've even, as business managers, talked about having a lobbyist or something for the AA schools, because I mean, we have a lot of needs and it seems like the smaller schools kind of get heard more because there's more of them. There's less of us. So.
Do you know how we would go about doing something like that?
I don't.
I thought about just emailing, what's his name, about that in the community, but I'm not sure that's. The
Yeah,
right-
we can do, like Carrie said, we get information, it changes the next week, it changes the next week. So we're trying to send it out to you, but I would be happy to do a board work session just on where they're going with this. It would probably take an hour. So we could get people kind of back up to speed on where we think they're headed. And then from there, with that knowledge, then we could move forward with, there's several different avenues that we could have for, different people, parents, board members, teachers to go and advocate when the time is right.
I would do it if it would help. I
Great.
don't know, you feel the same way?
Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
And Jessie had her hand raised. Do you still have anything, Jessie?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know Holly had mentioned, I think last year about us maybe talking about adding that as a committee, having a board member kind of being, I don't know, or maybe that was Frank. I can't remember who had brought that up, but I know we're talking about committee assignments today.
Well, I can just set up an optional board work session and anybody who's interested. Whoops. What is that? It's about all that cleanliness here, people.
No, it's like the servers.
Oh, it is.
Oh, really?
Uh-oh, we're blowing it out. Too much hot air. We started talking about the legislature and then that.
Yeah.
So having the server rack and we'll go to it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can set that up. It's really interesting. There's some interesting stuff going on, so.
I'll make a note of following up with you about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Board report? Anybody have anything they'd like to talk about or do?
I don't know if this is gonna come out with some of the other reports. But I just wanted to, and I expressed this to Leslie a little bit, I just wanna say some gratitude to the folks that were in Normandy we had a group in Normandy performing. And it was, of course, the 80th anniversary for that. Pretty amazing. If you've never been to Normandy, it's something that really is moving. And these kids had to have one of the best experiences that they will ever have with respect to the world and the things that formulate the world. So whatever extent we supported that, and I know us is working on a lot of additional communications out there. It was it's a very positive movement for Belgrade.
So if we turn the air conditioning back on, that might go off. Which one would you rather? Now we're gonna have both. All right.
All right. Any other board comments?
Just make sure I can't equally hear anything in the room now.
All right.
Can you still
That's
hear?
not weird.
Yeah, they're good.
We can talk into the movie.
Technology department, Mike Poston.
Good evening, and yes, I can apologize for the noise, but once equipment gets hot, it's automatic, so I can't do much about it. Not much in the update for this month. You can see the ticket counts that are noted in the detail section. And last month was asked about the Gmail to Outlook migration. We are on track for the migration. We are moving forward. Testing has begun. We've already done some test migrations from Gmail to Outlook. Those are going well. We haven't had any issues other than the volume of mail that we do have to do the migration will take some time. So, but everything seems to be moving forward and we're on track for an August 1st conversion. Any questions?
Just a comment for the going forward, the tech department updates will be every other month going forward. There's not a lot of updates, everything's running smoothly, but in the event that there is, we'll be sure to provide an update.
Yes. Thank you.
Principals, elementary.
So I did tell them that I would do their part of the board report, the data part. So if they have something special to share, then.
As far as data goes, I'd say it was just a really good learning year. We did some intervention groups one time that we hadn't done in the past. So I feel like moving forward next year, we have a pretty good idea of how to structure those groups. We're excited about that. Other exciting things, we are revamping our parking lot. This is a really big deal. For the safety of kids, we're gonna get rid of a crosswalk that's right there by the board outside and then restructure it. So it's more of parents dropping off. We're opening the door, letting them out and keeping traffic moving. So we're pretty excited about that. I was able to take 60 students on the reading challenge field trip. They read over 5,000 minutes this year. So I had about 60 kids do that. It was pretty fun. Yeah, we're just looking forward to getting ready for next year already. Any questions? Awesome. Thank you.
Middle school, Julie.
Basically, nothing more to add other than promotion. We had about 244 eighth graders go through promotion. So that was good. And to piggyback off what Rocky said, we haven't heard anything from France. I've seen a lot of pictures, but I'm sure they will be here to give a great account of what they did while they were in France. Other than that, preparing for next year, and that's about it.
High school.
I'm kind of the same. I don't have much more to add than what I put in the in Simbly, other than, we thought graduation was a success. We did get a lot of compliments on the ceremony itself. And I think that the class of 2024 was one of the most spirited classes in a long time. So it was fun. They were a great bunch. We ended the year. I'd like to thank my high school team. We have a lot of good things moving forward in place for next year already. And we think that we made some really good progress this year in a lot of our goals. So it was a great year, positive, and we met the challenging days with a good attitude, positive outlook. So that's about all I have, unless there's questions.
Questions? Okay. Thank you. Next up, activities. Toby Robinson.
I didn't have much, actually anything to put in there. Summer camp's going on and we are just focusing on schedules for the new year, and that's pretty much it right now.
All right.
Anybody has questions?
Not yet.
All right.
I love the homecoming week schedule out early. That's
Yeah.
it's coming fast already.
All right, facilities. I don't think Leroy's here today.
He's not. If anyone has any questions on his report, I can pretend to answer them, or I can get the real answer from.
Jessie has her hand up again.
I just wanted to say that Leroy took me down to the welding room to show me the new booth hood, and had said that he was excited that that was going to be such an efficient solution to that. And I'm really happy that that also was beneficial.
Steve, I had a question for Dee Dee before I forget. It was Leroy's reminded me of it. Did you guys set the date for the next long range planning committee?
No, I haven't set the date yet. We met
Let me know.
internally today and
Scheduling travel out for the summer.
Okay.
Be helpful.
Okay, any further board comments? Facilities comments, excuse me, I'm already lost. Consent agenda, board action. We have a motion for the consent agenda.
I would like to remove two things from the consent agenda. I would like to remove 5 and 6 and put them down under new business so that we can discuss them. I think they're that important.
Sounds fair. Do we need to vote on that, Carrie, or is that
you don't vote on it.
perfect?
You just vote on the other items.
So we'll need a motion to approve everything else except.
I move to adopt the consent agenda items 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8 as listed in the agenda and board packet. Authorize necessary. Oh, never mind. No, good. That was my motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any public comment? Hearing none, we move back to the board. Is there any board comment? Brings it to a vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Prior business. Or,
Rocky.
I'm sorry.
I was just trying to figure out, I got who made the motion, but I didn't catch who seconded it.
Okay, caught up?
Yes.
Okay, prior business. Revisions to board policy 2132.
All right, so this was bringing back for clarity in that first green paragraph. Reworded it to make it flow a little bit better, had the first sentence and then the opt-out sentences after, where it was at the original was just a big run-on long sentence. Any questions about the new update for 2132?
I move to adopt revisions to policy 2132, student and family privacy rights.
We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, we move back to the board. Do we have any board comment? Brings us to a vote. All in favor of approving board policy 2132, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jesse?
Sorry, I had a tech glitch. I couldn't hit the button. Aye.
Perfect. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Thanks for doing that, Thomas, making that change.
New business, when should we discuss the contracts? Do you want to wait?
They're
until the end?
first.
They should be first,
First.
yeah, they're under new business.
All right, first item of new business, consider contract amendment and renewal for the superintendent. We have a motion to begin.
I move to accept the contract renewal, amendment and renewal for the superintendent.
We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Bringing it back to the board, do we have any board comment?
I have a question as to how this came about, the process.
It's in our board policy that we discuss for contract.
Who discusses it?
It's the board and with her.
The board chair and vice chair.
Is that what it says in the policy?
Yeah, it's something Thomas brought up to me while I was still chair that we had discussed. That it's in her contract to review yearly. Is that how it was?
I'm looking it up here.
Compensation is reviewed annually. So number 9, salary adjustment. The board shall review the superintendent's salary on an annual basis and its discretion to increase the salary. But in no event should the salary be lowered. So that's in the contract that it can be brought up annually.
It has to be brought up annually, but I want to know how it started.
Yeah, how it's
Did it-
initiated.
Did you go to Dee Dee on behalf of the board? Or how did this work?
This was brought up to me by Thomas and Dee Dee. I assume this is, well, it would be your first anniversary. Right?
Right.
So she signed the original contract a year ago.
I was just a little confused about the process.
Yeah, like I said, it was just brought up to me by Thomas that that was in his contract and it would be. Probably we should be discussing it at some point in time, and then that's kind of where. He took over.
You jumped ship.
What is your main concern? Is it regarding potential changes?
My main concern is that none of the board was in on the process. And always before, it has been a board process where we talk about it. And that's why I'm questioning the process.
So understood. I guess I was just reading over the contract, the way it's stated language. We met with the chair and the vice chair. And then it was our understanding that it goes back to the board for a discussion. If there's any comments after that or anything like that, then we would be made aware, but.
Okay, and then the other concern was that it was under the consent agenda, which is, I mean, we talk about all the teachers, we talk about all the principals under new business. So why aren't we talking about the superintendent and the assistant superintendent under new business? I think it's that important that we shouldn't hide it in consent agenda.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the reason why we have the ability to pull it out. That's just my, following the process. That's just my opinion on the reason why I was in the consent. We have the board has the vote and we can discuss it now. So.
All right. Thank you.
We could probably always go into executive session. I said we could probably always go into executive session if we felt like there was actual negotiating discussion.
We're not negotiating.
And it's
I don't think it has to be an executive
It
session.
wouldn't be an executive session unless we're disciplining.
It says public knowledge.
Yeah. I think our only concern was if we needed to make changes, and I tried to do my due diligence to get everybody the proposals for review ahead of time. And then, minor tweaks are okay. I didn't want to get into a big public discussion about her contract. But I think for the most part, everybody was okay with the additions. But you have one concern?
I have one concern. I had the concern of another year contract. And my feeling is that we should wait until the end of the second year to up the contract, to add in a year contract. It will automatically add each year when it's up, according to law. But we have the right to do the additional. And I'm just thinking that we should wait until the second year to do that.
Why do you think that's important?
I think it's important so that we see the job that Dee Dee is doing. It's not that she's doing a bad job. I think she's doing a wonderful job. I need to say that, but I think we need to have some results before we up the contract, before we give her another year's contract.
I have a question for you that might help explain this to everybody. So I kind of thought the same thing, like, you know, you're in the first year of your 3-year contract and you've done a lot of organizational changes, but we've asked you to do a lot of stuff in terms of academics for students. So what is your plan for that? Is that where the other year's coming in, or is this a longevity type of thing or security thing? What's your idea behind the additional year on there?
It's a pretty typical thing to happen with superintendents. You know, in talking certainly to my other AA colleagues, but also A's and B's, keeping those 3 years in place is it does a couple of things. First of all, it tells the public that you have faith in your superintendent, which is good. We have a partnership. We work together to make sure that the school district moves forward. So being very public about that we are a committed team together is important. And second, a superintendent position is a very volatile position. We could get school board members elected whose only goal was to get rid of the superintendent. And it happens often. And so there's a level of protection there for superintendents that's kind of built into that system that exists, which is to keep that 3 years rolling. So I think those are the two primary reasons.
And the other side is if we give you another year and we are dissatisfied, then we have to buy out that 3rd year.
Correct.
So it still costs us money.
If she's not performing.
We firing for cause.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Pay me out if I'm not performing.
I mean, you have the ability to get out of the contract without buying her out if she's not performing and you guys are documenting it and you're telling her to perform.
It's important for us too. So we talked about this as a board about setting specific goals for Dee Dee. Because so much of her job, anybody's job, can get caught up in the day-to-day putting out fires, but we're really trying to be forward thinking here. We have some things we want you to do so that we can actually evaluate those at the end of the year and be able to probably judge this type of clause better in the future if we do that.
Right.
Does that help? I felt the same way about the extra year as Mary Ellen, but I wanted to hear what you have.
I think it's like I said, it's a partnership. And we know that, longevity in leadership positions is a benefit until maybe it's too long, right? But but having a new superintendent every 2 or 3 years is not healthy for a school district. It doesn't help make the change that needs to happen. So you want me to be able to stay and be good at my job for a long time. And I want to feel like I am safe to stay and keep doing a good job. And so when the contract starts to get smaller, that it's kind of like a signal that there's something wrong. So that it
isn't.
Well,
but it isn't wrong.
I think my perspective on this is the first year of any employment is something there's a transition. There are a lot of things that, you don't get the same results in the first year that you hope to get in the second year. Because you have a lot of things that you have to build with your team. You've got a new team that works with you now. The expectations are going to be higher, but I think it says that you've got this year to do what you've done so far. I mean, it's from where I'm sitting, you've made some good changes in the plan. What really will come to bear will, how do we do on our plan? That's the thing that's most interesting for me. And I want you to feel like you've got a partner. So for me, it makes sense to give the extra year. I'm okay with it. So, at the end of next year, we'll see where we come out. But next year, into next year's, you know, we all have a goal to make things better than they have been. We're gonna inch this thing forward. And if we do, then great. We've got a lot, we can really settle into a long-term partnership here. And that's what we want. We want Belgrade School District to get incrementally better every year. And the leadership of this school district, it's critical. It's a critical part of the success of the school district. And our role is to be supportive, but also we have the role of
Accountability.
calling balls and strikes.
Right.
So that, you know, that's what we'll have to do. But I suggest that adding a year right now still seems like the right thing for me to do.
That's well said. Great. 'Cause I really don't care if you're not performing in 3 years, we're gonna fire you. That's-
But I think.
I'll do it on the way out.
But I think we needed to talk about it as a
I
board.
agree with.
No, I think that's good. It's
Yeah.
good for us to have this discussion.
Yeah.
This is a good conversation.
Yeah.
It shows that we have expectations.
Mhm.
Something we have to talk about.
And the fact that last year we talked about giving a 2-year contract, and we were told that we had to give a 3-year contract, that we were originally going for a 2-year contract for our new super.
Well, I think from my discussions with everybody, the only real question was the additional year. And are you okay with that now?
I just wanted to talk about it.
That's fine. So there wouldn't be any modifications to this as written.
Ready for your.
Jesse, since you're online, do you have anything to add before we take this to a vote?
Nope.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We've had a good discussion. All in favor of renewing the superintendent contract with the additions as written, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side. Motion carries 6-0.
You see, it was painless. We did talk about it.
We just
It
had
was
to do it
painless.
right.
It's good. It's-
All right, Trey, consider contract renewal assistant superintendent. Before we begin, do we have a motion?
I moved that we accept the contract for the assistant superintendent.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I think that was Holly, Carrie.
Is that Holly?
She was first.
It doesn't
She was the first second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Moving back to the board, is there any board comment?
I'd like to say, you know, my interactions with Trey have been very positive. I think he's giving us a perspective that is different and welcome to our overall school district, and certainly in favor of proceeding as written here from where I'm sitting.
I agree. It's been good to have you here.
Very good to have you here.
Not even a horrible rest.
I don't know, we could get a little bit better bias on this.
Some of it's self-preservation.
No, you did a hell of a job considering the, maybe I shouldn't use those words, but considering where you're at and the consequences of the perceived bad calls.
Right,
All right, any further board comment before we take it to a vote? All in favor of approving the renewal of the assistant superintendent contract with the addition, say aye.
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 All opposed, say the same sign.
May I have just one follow-up?
Sure.
After after you get the vote
Oh,
completed.
okay. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, I would suggest that we put this on the agenda in February when we're supposed to by law. And do it not under the consent agenda, but put it as a main business. I won't be here next year after. I will be here in February. I'll remind you.
You only have to do it in February if it's the last year of their contract.
Pardon me?
You only have to do it in February if it's the last year of their contract.
Okay. But we should do it earlier than after this.
Mary Ellen, are you looking for more of a committee type?
Nope.
review?
I'm just thinking we need to have the discussion here.
That's fine. It kind of crept up on me too. And it was smooth, but I was concerned if we'd gotten in an uproar, we may not have gotten it done in time. So that's a good idea.
And this, all of this discussion was not anything negative against our two employees because they're doing a great job.
All right.
There we go again. Out of there.
Even with the air conditioning on.
Moving on with new business, we have the interfund transfers to Fund 282. We have a motion.
I move to approve 5% building level budget transfers, bus depreciation fund interest transfers, and transportation fund transfers to Fund 282 for fiscal year 24, and to transfer $200,000 from the elementary general fund and $100,000 to the high school general fund to Fund 282 for fiscal year 25 to be used for the curriculum department.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any public comments? Moving back to the board, do we have any board comments?
Because this was discussed at the financial committee meeting, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that if we get in trouble, that 5% can be used by the board to bail us out. It won't go back to the principal. Hopefully we'll never get that.
Right. That's our goal.
All right. We love you for it. Do we have any other comments? Brings us back to a vote. All in favor of approving the interfund transfers to Fund 282, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Next item, consider renewal of multi-district agreement between Belgrade Elementary School District 44 and Belgrade High School District 40. We have a motion to continue.
I move to approve the renewal of the multi-district agreement between Belgrade Elementary School District 44 and Belgrade High School District 44, effective July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2027.
We have a second. Second. We have a motion and a second. Do you have any public comment? Moving back to the board, do you have any board comment?
I just want to know what's the difference between a journal entry and a district warrant. Why did you go to a journal entry?
Because I don't want to write a check to ourselves. So I just want to do an interfund transfer with a journal entry rather than writing a check.
Okay, and that is perfectly okay.
Well, that's what we've been doing.
All right.
I just want to make sure our agreement actually matches.
All right.
It just doesn't make sense to write a check to ourselves from the same bank account and redeposit it back in.
And the elementary district is the major holder of this.
No, the high school district, 282.
The high school
Is the fiscal agent. The high school district is the fiscal agent. Hopefully it says that in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any further comment?
I think we can put the renewal every year back in the consent agenda, unlike the evaluations, and just kind of balance it.
Okay.
Okay.
Not the dollar amount, but we're gonna prove this for the rest of our lives.
So put that in the consent.
Item number 2, not number 1.
Yay. We talked about that today and then I was like, well, it's my first time with it, so.
Yeah, that's fine. Just for future.
Any further comments? Brings us up to a vote. All in favor of the renewal of the multi-district agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Item 3, FFA National Conference, out-of-state travel. Is Mr. Gavin here? Nope.
Mr. Gavin's at an FFA conference.
All right. Well, I think this is pretty straightforward. You don't need anybody to speak to it, do you, Shannon, Toby?
I didn't believe so. No.
Okay, all right. We have a motion to continue.
I move to approve the FFA to travel out of state to Indianapolis in October to complete in the National FFA Conference with all associated costs being paid by fundraising completed by the students.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Brings us back to the board. Any board comment?
I want to know what happened to the first place team. They placed second, didn't they? And the first place team couldn't attend.
Idea.
I think it's a great opportunity for Belgrade.
That's cool. Any further comments? Brings us back to a vote. All in favor of the approving FFA National Conference out-of-state travel to Indianapolis, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Next up, another FFA trip, out-of-state trip to Washington and Oregon. We have a motion to continue.
I move to approve the FFA travel out of state to Washington and Oregon on July 7th through the 12th for a tour of ag commodities with the associated costs being paid by FFA fundraising done by the students.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, comes back to the board. Any board comment? It's kind of neat these kids get to take all of these trips. I'm very envious. Brings us to a vote. All in favor of approving the out-of-state trips to Washington and Oregon, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Up next, Europe Club trip, spring break. Do we have a motion to continue?
I move to approve the Belgrade High School Europe Club trip to Europe. It's confusing. On spring break 2025 with all costs of the trip being covered by fundraising by students.
We have a second.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Brings it back to the board. Any board comment?
I would just like to know about the safety factor for these kids traveling to Europe. Is anybody here to speak to that?
I can just speak a little bit, Mary Ellen, to the travel companies that we go through. They're very well vetted. We've done many trips, and this trip in particular is to Italy. And the reason that it's happening again this year is because the kids requested it when they got back from Europe over spring break this year. They wouldn't be going again until 2026. So the students asked Mr. Herbst if he would go with them again. So it would be a special trip so that the kids who really wanted to go when they got back from their other trip and saw their experience, they would get to go again.
So they're going back to Italy.
They're going to Italy.
Is it to Rome?
I don't have all of the details other than Italy that I put in the report. So.
Then the Jubilee, so it's gonna be nuts if they're going to Rome. But
As far as I know, I hadn't heard Rome, so. I don't know, Dee Dee, if you have Assembly up that you can.
it's
not
in there.
Okay, just after today's news with the teachers being attacked in China, would hope that the company really tightens up security here for kids.
I'll make sure.
Then Jessie has her hand raised.
Okay, Jesse.
I would like to just state, like, with lack of information on the financial impact, just that it's going to cost the students money, and there's no details of what organization we're going through. There's no information on the agenda that everybody else who has come to us and asked for these types of trips. We have asked for that information. I just don't want us to set a precedent that people can just ask for stuff without us having the full scope. So that just makes me nervous voting on something where we don't know the details.
Would it be okay if I spoke a little bit to that? This group, because of the turnaround time of it, that they just went over spring break this year, when they got back this year, that's when they tried to find a time when they could go. They haven't been able to do any fundraising or advertising or solidifying the itinerary at this point without approval from the board. So it's kind of the opposite in this situation that happens first, that all of the details get put together. It was an opportunity that we just needed approval for, to explore. And with some of the new information, I think it would be certainly something that if things that are happening right now would change that, or the itinerary didn't look like it was something that you would want to approve for the safety of the students or wouldn't be comfortable, I would certainly understand that. Is there any way that the trip could have tentative approval while we get that information together and start organizing with the group and that, and then come back to the board? Because I understand Jesse's concerns. It's just the timing of this trip.
Right, I would be willing to change my motion to approval to tentatively pursue options for a trip to Europe to bring back to the board for approval.
That would be great. A lot of the fundraising that the kids, it's discounted for the earlier that they raise the money to. So that's some of the other reason that we don't have some of the information. We haven't been able to put it out other than gain interest. So that would be great if that would be acceptable.
I don't know who seconded it, but I'll change my motion.
So who did the second?
I did.
Rocky did.
I already said by second.
State it again, Harv.
I move to approve. Ray just about kicked me.
Like a whole year is just gone.
Please, come on.
We're just in Italy, right?
Yes. I move to approve the Europe Club to be able to pursue options for a trip to Europe over spring break in 2025 to bring back for approval for the board. Does that sound right?
I'll second.
Everybody but Frank's over there cringing. Everybody else is nodding their head, so.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Goes back to the public for any comments. And back to the board. Does this sound more acceptable?
I don't know, are they gonna go out and fundraise all summer and we're gonna come here and they're gonna tell them no?
Well, hopefully it will come back like next month or so that we can have it. If they can go out and kind of at least pursue the information now.
Yeah, Mr. Herbst has been in contact with the four companies, so as soon as we get tentative approval, information will start rolling in and itineraries will be generated. It's a smaller group too, so that might have an impact on the fundraising that they have to do.
So we're concerned about the politics and then the numbers associated with the trip, is that right? Safety.
And then the amount, yeah, the cost.
The itinerary and the safety.
Just for my information, if something was to go crazy, we approved this and something did go nuts in Italy 6 months from now, would someone from the district be able to veto this trip? Who would that be?
You guys.
So. All right. Let's move on with our vote, I guess. All in favor of approving the exploration stage of the Europe Club trip, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Next, approval of classified employee contract renewal recommendations. Do we have a motion to begin?
I approve the listed classified employee contracts for renewal for 24-25 school year from July 1st, 24 to June 30th, 2025.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, comes back to the board. Do we have any board comment? Good, Frank? All right.
I have a question. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
so I see that we've got Leslie listed as webmaster. Is that her official title?
No, that's just what came over in the, we can update that. That's what came over in the back-end payroll system. So we'll get that updated.
The webmaster.
We just need to.
I mean, she is a
Jill
web-
of all trades.
Yeah.
Wizard is. All right, I think we're ready for a vote. All in favor of the approval of classified employee contract renewals, say aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Item 7, recommendation for district health insurance. Thomas.
Yeah, first off, I just want to say, thank you so much for our insurance committee members that are here, all the hard work they put into this. So as everybody knows, we had a 34% rate increase. We had Alliance go out for bid, and they came back with the top 3, which were JPT, UHC, and Pacific Source. And after going through all the information, we're gonna move forward, recommend JPT, Joint Powers Trust, as our health insurance starting September 1st. We would like to offer 4 plans, 1,500 PPO, 3,000 PPO, 4,000 high deductible, and 6,000 not deductible.
Thanks for the information. Do we have a motion to continue?
We have a motion.
Somebody like to make one?
I move from must to Joint Powers Trust effective September 1, 2024.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Bringing it back to the board. Do we have any board comment?
I have a question, and I'm hoping that somebody can answer it because I couldn't find it. It said the Joint Powers Trust was set up by counties in Montana. Does anybody know what counties? I couldn't find it.
That initially set up the trust? I will find out, answer who initially set up the trust. I'm not sure. I know that, yeah, I can't answer that question right now.
I couldn't find if it were small counties. I know Galton County wasn't involved, but.
They use them now, though.
Pardon me?
They use them now, though.
Do they use them now?
Yes.
Okay. Be interesting to just know who was smart enough to set that up.
Jesse has her hand up.
Jesse.
it's me again. Thomas, did you do some research on the availability of in-network care providers in our valley? Is there ample options for our teachers and staff to find in-network care?
Yes, so first choice is the network. And before we went to this, we went to Gallatin County, who is a large provider of their insurance here. And I talked to their HR group, and yeah, their employees have had no problems in the Gallatin Valley to get service.
Okay. Any further questions?
Is there going to be any penalty from must for us dropping out?
No, so we had a year to year, we notified them within the time frame to say that, hey, look, we're not moving forward with you for next year. And they're good. We've already had kind of like an exit strategy since they weren't in the top 3 of the insurance community choice. So.
Sorry, wait for Rocky to come back.
No, we'll be right back.
Sing us a little song there, Thomas.
Nobody wants that.
When did the county go to this group?
3 years ago.
3 years
Yeah.
ago?
It was the first year I was here.
Yeah, so 3
So
years.
they left Allegiance and went to this.
Oh, county?
You said it's formed by the county?
It was formed by a county, but we don't know which one. Now, Mary Ellen has
Several counties.
several counties.
Yes.
Several Montana counties.
What's the difference between that and a co-op then, I guess? I thought that was illegal for.
Well, it's a trust. It's the same as what we're trying to set up
Interesting.
for school districts. So.
All right. Ready, Rocky?
Yeah.
All in favor of approving the recommendation for district health insurance, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same side. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Next, consider new stipend position.
All right, so this position is for the concessions advisor. This recommendation is coming up from the extra duty stipend committee. We are asking that it get put on stipend level 7, and then it'll have a fall, winter, and spring season, totaling $6,360 for the stipend.
And this will be a teacher that will be hired.
Let's get a motion real quick and then we'll continue the discussion.
I move to approve the addition of the following stipend position for a concession advisor.
Do we have a second? I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Bringing it back to the board comment.
Okay, my question is, will this be a teacher or will this be somebody outside of the district? How are you advertising for this?
I mean, it falls within the Schedule B, so it gets posted internally. So
So
internal,
it's just going to be internal.
and then, yeah, so internally.
And you didn't want to apply for it? You've done such a good job.
Thank you.
Just to add comment, we still break even paying this. Just barely, but we're not losing money.
Yeah, I think overall this has been a good change, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And Jessie has her hand up.
Jesse?
My question is for Thomas. Do you have a job description for this concessions advisor with their duties for this stipend, available?
Yeah, I can pass it along to you. I do have a job description.
Thank you.
Yep.
And could you have 3 separate people? One for fall, winter, and spring, or are you going to try to go for one person for all 3?
Yeah, I mean, we would like to have a consistent person for all 3, but it is open for the 3 sessions, the 3 seasons.
Further questions? Hearing none, we're bringing it back to a vote. All in favor of approving the new stipend position, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 9, MOU between Belgrade School District and Belgrade Education Association. Ask for motion first. We have a motion to continue.
I move to approve the MOU with the Belgrade Education Association regarding the proposed changes to Appendix B.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any public comment? Bring it back to the board. Any board comment?
Frank and Steve, were you in on this conversation? And you're in agreement with it?
So we brought this in April to get approval for all the positions, and we also just added the concession advisor to this as well, to get on the Schedule B. So this is the MOU portion. We're going to work with the union to make sure we have a better flow for next time. And that's all I have for this.
Kind of an off the cusp question. I'd heard that there was a rumor, we discussed this, that they'd already hired the strength and conditioning coach. Can you confirm or deny that?
Yeah, that's not true. We haven't posted the position, and yeah, there's been no.
Toby, can you advise who's working with the kids now in strength and conditioning?
Right now, it's the football coaching staff. This morning was the head volleyball coach who came down too. And then we have a guy named Jason down and does all that background check.
Okay. He's doing that temporarily until the position.
Yeah, we started to call it the great experiment in February. It's been amazing. The number of kids that turned out this morning is 50 boys. That's why we have more coaches.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if Jessie could hear that. Jessie, could you hear?
I could hear a little bit of what Toby was saying. I got the gist.
Okay.
You have any questions on Jesse?
I just caught that you had said that we've got amazing, it sounded like you said we've had really good turnout. The boys are they in the morning and the girls are having options in the evening? Is that what I heard?
Well, because of the massive amount of numbers that we've never had before, we have two sessions. One starts at 6 to 7:30 a.m. and then 7:30 to 9. That started this morning.
Cool. That sounds great.
Any further questions? Brings us back to a vote. All in favor of approving the MOU between Belgrade School District and the Belgrade Education Association, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Item 10, MOU between Belgrade School District and the Belgrade Education Association, Article 13.5 salary payments.
I move to approve the MOU between Belgrade School District 44 and the Belgrade Education Association Local 7508 to revise Article 13.5 salary payments to 24 payments effective July 1st, 2024.
One second. There's a motion and a second. Is there any public comments? Bringing it back to the board. Any board comments? Anything you would like to explain, Thomas?
Nothing.
Any board comments?
Are the teachers excited?
Are the teachers excited?
Are the teachers excited?
I think we have about 75, about 75% of our members said that they wanted this change or they didn't care. We had about 20% that don't like change. So change is hard, didn't want to make we didn't see any negatives other than having to change your payments, your automatic payments, which is a pain. But I think the benefits that this would have for especially our newer teachers outweighed that challenge.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Should we vote? All in favor of approving the MOU between the Belgrade School District and Belgrade Education Association for salary payments, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. Revisions to policy 1420, board meeting procedure. We have a motion to continue.
I move to adopt revisions to policy 1420 board meeting procedure effective July 1st, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any comment, public comment? Bringing it back to the board, any board comment?
Carrie, in 25 words or less, can you explain to me what's going to happen?
Well, we're gonna start recording the meetings. They will no longer be live streamed on Zoom. They'll just be recorded here and then posted on the website within 5 business days.
And how do we get comment back if we're not live streaming?
That's why we haven't been taking public comment on our live streams anyways. That's been something you guys decided not to do a while ago, which MTSBA and all the other attorneys are saying, if you're gonna live stream it, you better take public comment in written and during the meeting. So to avoid that, it's better if you just record the meeting, have it available. And then
if they need to do public comment, they have to come to the meeting.
Or they can provide it prior to the meeting through email or a letter or, yeah. I don't know.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah.
Good deal. Any further questions? You good, Frank?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's vote. All in favor of revisions to policy 1420, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Item 12, revisions to board policy 3110, entrance placement and transfer. We have a motion to continue.
Make a motion to adopt the revision to policy number 3110, entrance placement transfer.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Bringing it back to the board. Any board comment?
Yes, I do. The very last statement. The trustees may also admit an individual who has graduated from high school but is not yet 19 years of age even though no special circumstance exists for waiver of the age provision on policy. Are we opening a can of worms saying that any 18-year-old can come back? Even though they've graduated from high school?
Where are you?
Trustees may also admit an individual.
Am I in the wrong one?
who has graduated from high school, but
Yeah,
it's
it's on the,
not yet 19 years of age, even though no special.
it's the very last paragraph before school entrance. To me, that says that any child who is 18 who, and has graduated can come back to school. Is
So
there
it's-
some way of?
Why would they?
It
want
says
to?
it in the, right?
But,
It says it in the paragraph above too, right? If the adult is 19 years of age or older and in the trustee's determination would benefit from educational programs offered by a school of the district. I think it's giving you the option of allowing a 19-year-old to to come back and finish their year if they turn, but it says may, it doesn't say must.
but the,
they
yes, but
graduated.
we don't get paid for 19-year-olds.
Graduate, we don't.
Do we now?
No.
So I think that last paragraph,
Is this just for special ed? We've made this exception. in the
Yes,
past.
for special ed, you do it, but it's not.
There is some A and B for students who qualify for the,
Yeah, that's different.
it's a quarter A and B.
so somebody's saying this is for special ed, there's nothing that says anything about special ed in here.
This isn't just, yeah, I don't think that's just for special ed.
Do you want us to, we can follow up
Okay, I
and
would,
get more information.
I would like
if
to
you
have
wanted
more
to.
information from Montana school boards as to why they put that in there about the trustee may,
It's in the state law.
Oh, well, there's that.
that they may come back.
Yes.
Even though they've graduated from high school.
State law says the trustees may also admit an individual who has graduated from high school but is not yet 19 years of age, even though no special circumstances exist for waiver of the age provision of this section.
But that says not yet.
That's MCA what? What?
20-5-101.
Oh, yeah. This says not yet.
20-5- what?
101. I'll give you this copy if you want.
I have.
It's like if your kid didn't go to the Europe trip because they thought there's a chance they were gonna go to state basketball, then they could come back when they didn't go to state basketball and go to Europe.
Yep. Mhm.
Oh, wait, no, they're 19.
Always thinking.
And then it also says the adult is 19 years of age or older and in the trustee's determination would benefit from educational programs offered by a school district. So that's what that one's referring to. It's just that.
And I could come back and take a welding course or something.
You guys deem it's appropriate.
I said, why would they want to?
So it's more what was the legislature thinking, not what
How many times has this been exercised?
somebody's kid wants.
Well, this actually is supposed to take, this law takes effective July 1, 2024.
Oh, it's the last legislature that did it to us.
Interesting to see whose legislature's kid goes back to school.
It's another one of those unfunded mandates.
Yes.
Well, if we're not getting A and B for them, they could enroll and we could use adult ed money.
Because if they've graduated, we should be able to use adult ed money.
You just can't use adult ed money for students you're already getting A and B.
So that's more tracking for you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
But this was also in the policy from 19, I mean, they just changed a little bit of language, but I'm looking at the draft from 2000, I mean, this was in the language there prior as well.
But I agree with you, Holly. Why would anybody want to come back?
Because learning in Belgrade School District is a wonderful thing, Mary Ellen.
They're dating a junior.
That's what we want. Teachers and aides and parents. We don't want them to come back as students again, though.
But we as the trustees will have the final say on whether they can be admitted
says
or
may.
not.
It would come
We
through
can
us.
ask them why.
All right. What do you think, Mary Ellen? You want to continue or should we ask for clarification?
Am I the only one objecting? If it's state law, we can't,
state law and it has to come through us.
I mean, the
anyway, so,
legislature did it to us.
Yeah.
You didn't hear that.
But you'll uphold the
All
state
right,
law.
I think we should vote. Are everybody ready? All in favor of approving revisions to board policy 3110? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Next up, revisions to policy 3110P, entrance placement and transfer procedure. Do we have a motion to continue?
Make a motion to adopt revision to policy 3110P, entrance placement and transfer procedure.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any public comment? Bringing it back to the board. Do we have any board comment?
I'm going to continue. Round one, we talked about this years ago, and we spent a lot of time with round one. And round one, we specifically had teachers involved, that a teacher could do this. And I'm thinking if we hired a teacher and they had a kindergarten and they wanted a kindergarten to go to their same school, I think we need to give those teachers that right, even though they maybe have been hired after round one took place. Do you see what I'm saying?
Is this us creating this or did the state law actually go?
No,
that
this
far?
is,
Okay,
this is us trying to,
reconcile what they did.
yeah, just to kind of clarify and help us.
It's very complicated.
It is a very complicated process, I'll say that.
But we had done that before only because it gave the teachers a little perk if they were teaching and wanted their kid to go to that school.
If there's room, I
There's
guess that should be just put in there. As-
But if they're in round one, but Becky, you remember that? It was before your time, though, I think.
Well, I think that happened before me, but after we lost my sister. My sister taught here, and the reason that she went to both of them because her son couldn't attend the school.
Yeah. And we had
Between those two times.
a really lengthy board discussion on that. And I think it was under round one that just said that teachers could apply to have their student be in their school or something.
I'm okay with that change.
Hmm?
I'm okay with that change.
What would you like to do? Should we table this and revise it and bring it back?
Well, it's Trey's call, I think, here.
There's a lot of color on this page for sure.
Yes, there is. Not much pink, a lot of green.
Yeah.
I felt like
I
there was
thought
something in for an exceptional
I
circumstance.
thought we had that covered in there and that's what I was
And
trying.
I looked through it and I couldn't find it, but if you think it's in there.
Well, I think we could amend it to just go ahead and add that statement under round one. And then we know it's in there.
Or maybe you don't want to do it anymore.
No.
But I think we have a lot of teachers who have young children.
Yeah, sure, we want to accommodate. We could make
So it'd
that,
be 2A and then.
What exactly do you want it to say?
students of employees.
As long as there is room in the school.
Well, if there's room, we would accommodate them anyway.
If there's not room,
Yeah.
then we're gonna have to make an exception, so.
Sure.
So can we table this or, and then you bring it back next month? Would that be soon enough?
Yep. Not an issue.
And everybody has the homework of reading through this and.
You withdraw your motion, Rocky?
I'll withdraw my motion.
Some table, we'll come back to it next month. Thanks, everybody. Item 14, revisions to policy 3121. We have a motion to continue.
I move to adopt revisions to policy 3121 enrollment and attendance.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Any public comment? Or we have any board comment? Is there any explanation you'd like to do, Thomas?
Again, MTSBA policy update here to reflect the changes in the calculation of A and B.
So the early literacy targeted intervention classroom and the Jumpstart program are new starting this July 1st. The Jumpstart program is the summer school program that we're getting a quarter A and B for students entering kindergarten through third grade who are delayed in their reading. And then the early literacy targeted intervention classroom is that 4-year-old classroom that we're able to start this year. We get full A and B, of course, that's all a year in arrears. But for one classroom teacher and up to 18 students. And that's the one where we're partnering with Head Start that for students who are also Head Start applicable or can also be part of Head Start. They're gonna support us financially, which would help pay for the paraprofessional in the classroom. So we just have to add the language in of that we're gonna follow the law about how we get the A and B for that.
I guess on a side note, I just noticed on page 2, bullet point number 2, evaluate or elaborates on what we were discussing for policy 3110. Just jumped at me. It does talk about students with disabilities between the ages of 19 and
yeah.
Okay. Do we have any board comment? Everybody ready to vote? Yep. Frank, you good?
Yep.
All in favor of approving revisions to board policy 3121, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Revision of board policy 7330, payroll procedures. Thomas, want to give a quick explanation?
Yeah, this is just updating so that instead of the once-a-month pay, it's on the 10th and the 25th, barring that doesn't fall on a holiday or a weekend, which will be paid on the prior business day for both the certified and the classified staff.
Okay, we have a motion to continue.
I move to approve moving from once a month payroll to semi-monthly payroll with 24-day pay periods.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, comes back to the board. Any board comment? Since there's none, we'll bring it to a vote. All in favor of approving board policy 7330 payroll procedures, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Up next, board policies 8502, construction and repairs. Thomas, want to give us a brief rundown?
Yeah, MTSBA felt like we need to have something in annotated. This is going to be a new policy. Just annotating that, we're going to follow all construction and repair guidelines. And that's what is in the policy.
I think it wins for the shortest policy ever.
The biggest thing with this one, it references multiple policies if you see underneath that.
So why haven't we had this before?
We have it now and that we can only look forward, okay?
Somebody caught
I
it.
can't change the past.
Thanks.
We have a motion to continue.
To approve policy 8502 construction and repairs.
I seconded.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any?
Before we go, can we actually postpone this one? There's a lot of stuff in those laws in the back about how we would manage our contracts going forward. Capturing retainage on any job bigger than $1,000, requiring a bond to bid stuff, things we haven't done. I'd like to have Leroy available to answer questions before I vote on it. I think it should go move to a meeting. Since it's a new policy, we probably can live without it for a month.
So this could be our first reading and then come back with
the
revisions and we have a second reading next month.
That's fine too. I just have questions for. I don't think we can pass it.
Sounds appropriate.
Yep.
It's really catching
Okay.
that.
So do we need to rescind that? We didn't make a motion.
I take.
Rescind.
Policy 8502 has been tabled and for discussion until the next board meeting.
It's Leroy back. Where's he gone?
Thank you all.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks.
Services agreement between Career Transitions and Belgrade School District. Do we have a motion?
I make the motion to approve the renewal of service agreement between Career Transitions and Belgrade School District beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2020.
So Career Transitions has been providing adult ed classes and, huh?
I'll second.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Didi,
No.
please continue.
Sorry, jumped right in. And high set preparation for our students who are over 16, but have withdrawn from school. We would propose continuing this partnership while we review the possibility. So this fall, looking at taking over that program ourselves. But we need to have all that in place. We need to be ready with the funding that comes through the adult ed funding source and be ready with a good transition because kids, you know, the high set doesn't follow our school calendar. So we need to be ready to step in and support our students if we decide to make a change like that.
Was the meeting? You guys wanted to meet with.
And we never did get to meet.
Well, which we run, we're like, we wondered for some numbers and those were in there. She's talked about how many kids it's helped and many costs and stuff.
So I think maybe ask for public comment and you can get.
Yeah, I do need to ask for public
Oh,
comment.
sorry.
Do we have any public comment? All right, back to the board.
Okay, so I still am concerned. I know that we have to do it for one more year, but I'm still concerned that we did not consult with teachers when we took this away. And I think we need to consult with teachers to make sure that they want to do it and really think about it next year, changing back to us.
Yeah, I mean, the world's our oyster. We can come up with whatever program the Belgrade School District believes is the best program for our community. Because also we'd like to continue to add on to our adult ed offerings too. So whether we stick with Career Transitions, whether we move to a different organization or whether we take it on our own, that's the work that we need to do this fall to take a look at those options. So I look forward to working with you on that, Mary Ellen.
Pardon me?
He said I look forward to working with you on that.
Hey, I didn't hear that. Okay, I would be happy to.
Okay, good.
Any further questions by the board?
I don't remember that specific line item in the adult education fund levy. Was that? Did we put that? Okay.
This is our second year on it.
That's a progressive.
That $48,000 a year still. It's high.
Spread out, that's TD.
For two students who have passed $48,000 a year.
Put the numbers in there somewhere though. There's like two students
60
that graduated. or-
Had graduated.
65 students are in process and 2 this year were able to complete that.
Right, we ready for a vote? Okay, all in favor of approving the services agreement between Career Transitions and the Belgrade School District, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All opposed, same side.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-1. Item 18. MTSBA membership renewal for 2024.
I move to renew the board's membership with Montana School Boards Association for 2024-25, including SIM subscription and policy maintenance services.
I'll second. We We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment?
Every time I make a motion, that thing.
It's your hot air.
Bringing it back to the board, any board comment?
I think this is well worth us, even though we consult with another attorney. I think just having them as a backup for us is a good use of it.
What did you do for assembly before, Carrie? Did we pay for that by ourselves and then now we're gonna be transitioning them into SBA or?
No, Assembly's always been through MTSBA. It's a fairly new program, but now MTSBA is handling all of the subscriptions to it. When we first went with Assembly, they did all the training and demos and all that with us, but then we paid MTSBA for it.
And they do a really nice job with the policy updates. So that they tell us what to do and they write the language.
Okay. We were ready for a vote. All in favor of approving membership renewal for 2024, 2025, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Item 19. Appoint board members to committees. I think we just kind of went down the list last time, didn't we?
Yep. So we will not have a district safety committee, correct? Correct.
That shouldn't be on there. You're not having that?
No, because
We discuss things that we don't want to have. If we're there, then.
This is no district safety committee. Facilities advisory committee, who wants to be on that?
it's just still gonna do that.
Wait, what did I say? What did I sign up for?
Are you gonna be on facilities?
Yeah, I'll stay on facilities.
Anyone else?
Rocky was.
Rocky? We okay with 2 out of 3? Okay. Finance committee,
I would like to stay on it.
anyone else?
Right.
Stay.
I got you. 3rd, no? Okay. Professional development calendar committee,
I'd like to stay on it. Thank you.
I'd stay on that one. I didn't realize I was on that one, so I will start attending the meeting.
I didn't hear a word she said. Did she say?
I
she's on
said
board
I'll
with it?
stay on that one. I just didn't realize I was a part of that one.
Oh.
So I'll start attending the meetings moving forward.
Gotcha. Tech committee,
I'll be on that.
Rocky, anyone else?
You wanna stay on that one, Steve?
Yeah, I remember myself one. Wellness,
Steve staying on that? I'm on that, but we've never done anything, so you can keep me on that. There's supposed to be something that.
That's gonna be a change this year. So we'll get you the work.
Okay, yeah.
okay. Long range facility planning,
I'd like to stay on that.
I'd like to be on it. Yeah.
Stay.
did you say yes, Frank?
Yes.
Rocky Frank and.
Mary Ellen,
So I'm on one. If you wanna throw me on something else, you can throw me on something else.
how about tech? Wait, we need to. do
Yeah, we
third.
have the ad hocs too, so.
Okay. Negotiations committee. Frank? Mary Ellen?
Yeah, I would like to be on there if you want me back.
Yeah.
You threw me off last year.
Is that why? they
Because I
call
missed
that?
that meeting.
She's not bitter about
I ever missed.
We do have negotiations coming up. for next year's.
So know what you're signing up for.
I've been on it,
It's a handful.
yeah, in this
The 3 of us have done it in the past.
forever.
Someone else? I'll throw myself down, but if anyone else wants to do it, let me know. Superintendent and clerk evaluation committee.
We vote, yeah, Mary Ellen and I can do that again. That's fine.
Okay. Go stay on that, Mary Ellen?
Although do
We should have it should be all done.
Yeah, because Thomas
we
has
have
it in
HR.
the.
It's all
Thomas
online
has it all
now.
in the thing.
So we.
Although, do we need to adjust anything on?
Yeah, there is the timeline factor, but I mean.
Why don't I jump on that one, because I suggested some changes, then I can work with you on it.
Okay.
Do you want to stay on it?
Sure.
Mary Ellen or Holly? Mary Ellen's off, I'm on, okay,
Yeah.
Holly and me.
And we only did it because we had to. We got nominated.
Transportation Committee?
Who's on that now?
Nicole was always on that.
Nicole was on that.
I can do that.
Gifted and Talented Committee?
Put Holly on that one.
I was on that, but
We might now, that we have a coordinator, right?
Yeah.
yeah, we were doing monthly meetings every Thursday.
I wouldn't
And I
mind
can't
being on that.
Do that. You want to do?
Right. And Behavior Committee,
I'd like to stay on that one.
Rocky? I'll stay on it too.
Since it's your committee.
I just missed a golden opportunity.
You did.
So FFA Advisory Council is actually renamed CTE Advisory Council, so we missed that change.
And I'd like to stay on that one, please.
Right.
Yeah.
And Belgrade Educators Scholarship Fund.
I'll do that again. I got off that. I like that.
And that's where you have to read all the scholarship
Yeah,
applications.
that's kind of fun. And I don't have a kid in there next year, so that's fair.
So Frank and Molly.
Yep. All right. Item 20.
Just one thing. Would somebody type that list up and send it out to us?
You got it all down? I have it too,
Yep.
if you need.
Okay. Thank
We
you.
will, and we will change it on the website. So we'll make sure all the updates are on the website also, but we'll send you a copy of it. We'll send everyone a copy.
Okay. Set regular board meeting dates for 2024, 2025.
Believe she's so organized.
Anyone like to make a motion?
I move to hold regular board meetings on the following dates for 2024, 2025, unless otherwise posted.
I'll
Do I
second.
have to say all the
Just say
dates?
see below.
The dates
I'll put
that
the
are
dates
listed
in.
below.
I'll second.
I'm gonna give that to Rocky.
No. We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Bringing it back to the board, any board comment?
What happened to the idea of us meeting twice a month?
So I think we decided, so here's our challenge. If we want to move in the direction of making sure the board approves all hires before they start, we're gonna have to meet more frequently. But we can do that meeting quickly as a morning meeting, mostly online. So I think if we move in that direction, we'll go ahead and schedule that meeting when we need it. If it turns out we need it, every other week from the board meeting or, once a month, then we'll just schedule them regularly so that you know.
But all other double A's meet twice a month except Callis. Or Helm.
Butte. Butte doesn't. But they have special board meetings to do their hiring.
Any thoughts?
What time is it?
It is 7:48.
If I look at my computer.
Still for public comment or past that?
Oh, done so many, I can't remember where we are. Let's ask for public comment again.
So my name is Thomas Reynolds, I'm the HR director. One thing I'd like to bring up, look at the schedule. I see that we have like a July 8th moving to like the next Monday. I'd like to be more agile if we can, if there was a possibility, instead of waiting a whole nother week, potentially for hiring or anything like that, to maybe do it that same week, just move it a different day. That's all.
So what,
Back to the board, any board comment?
How do we change them? How do we change them? Can we still just go ahead and change them if we need to?
Can't we just have a special board meeting if we have hires that week?
That's what we.
We
determined would be
can,
best.
so,
That's what we
so
do.
as long as the board recognizes that if we, we have to post 48 hours ahead of time, we'll give you notice, but that we might have whatever time you want to do it, 7 a.m. online meeting or whatever you want to do. That, when we need to hire, that we are able to do that, then I think we don't necessarily need to go to a.
It seemed like from our discussion, when we tried to schedule 24 meetings, we were scheduling temporary meetings, the second meeting, and then we may not even fulfill that obligation. It may just go unused on the calendar. Whereas if we could just continue doing Zoom meetings like we were in case of need, it fit our need and we didn't waste a lot of time. I don't really like spending time in meetings, to be honest with you. Seems like it's been working for us in the past, and I don't see any reason to change it.
I think if you had another meeting every month that's scheduled, I'm gonna miss a lot more meetings personally.
Yeah.
And I think also what's gonna happen is, well, we just have this appointment issue, but damn, we just got this policy from MTSBA, and let's award these kids something because they just got back. And that's just gonna be creep.
I think if
Really
the
opposed to
board
it.
ever moved to 2 meetings a month, we would split the content, obviously make the meeting shorter. But you don't have to.
You'd end up with 2 meetings that were
That are just as long.
long.
Because we get twice as much done,
Even
Frank.
No, we won't.
So can I ask the trustees what the preference would be for, is there a date and time preference if we move to having an online meeting when we need to do approvals for hiring?
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
I'd go 7. I'd go 7 a.m.
It was 6.
It all depends on what day we're talking about, because I usually work from 6 or 7 a.m. until 10.
Right.
And then I start again at 6 p.m. and work till midnight, so I have a little different schedule than most everybody else.
But they're designed to be quick. Maybe
It's
15 minutes.
like
Mondays are good, Fridays are good for me. I know nobody likes Fridays, but
I actually like the 7 a.m. Friday meeting because people do not want to belabor that meeting and nor do they want to go past 8. So it's cool.
So potentially Friday mornings at 7 a.m. could work for people.
Except for the time we have finance.
Well, not when we have, but not when we have finance.
Don't mess with my Friday's fun with finance. With Fishers.
It's fabulous.
Yes. Fundamentally amazing.
Okay, any further discussion? Brings us back to a vote. All in favor of approving the schedule of regular board meeting dates for 2024 through 2025, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Updates to MTSUIP bylaws. Do we have a motion to continue?
Move to approve the collective proposal amendments to the MTSUIP bylaws and delegate the district clerk to submit the electronic ballot on the board's behalf.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. I guess before I ask for public comment, is there anything Dee Dee or Carrie would like to say about this? To explain further?
One of the changes they made is in order to be part of MTSUIP, which is our unemployment insurance, you have to be a member of MTSBA, so that will affect us moving forward. Not that we wouldn't want to be members of MTSBA, but.
Okay, any public comment? Hearing none, comes back to the board. Any board comment? Brings us to a vote. All in favor of approving updates to the MTSUIP bylaws, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
So that must mean that we're able to go to the breakfast from the
Jesse.
and the conference at the conference.
Yeah.
Jesse, did you
thought
vote?
I thought I hit unmute. I said aye, but it was
Okay.
still
Oh.
muted.
It
Sorry.
is 6-0. A lot in favor. Number 22, their trustee position vacant.
I move to declare a vacant position on the Belgrade School Board of Trustees.
I'll second. Do we have any public comment? Hearing none, comes back to the board. Any board comment? Brings us to a vote. All in favor of approving or declaring the trustee position vacant, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
And we have 60 days from tonight.
Trying to get in before 8.
Have 5 minutes.
Come on, I had 8:50 as my bet for
Oh.
tonight, so you can slow way
I'm
down.
glad I've set a precedent at least.
I just didn't feel like voting on that, I'll be honest with you. Approve the plan for filling the trustee vacancy. Doing the same thing. Do we have a motion?
Well, we have some blanks on there. Do we have some recommended thoughts on any of those?
Oh, yeah.
Make a motion.
Let's see, we have 60 days.
60 days.
So 60 days from today is,
What do we want to give people? It's through the 4th.
August.
No. No.
Like 40 days or something.
Gonna ask Uncle.
At theory.
Give them 40 days to drop them off and then. that
60
gives
days
them-
No,
from
it has to
tomorrow.
be from tonight. Because it's 60 days from the time we declared the vacancy.
So it's 40, what's a reasonable time for us to evaluate?
Friday,
these?
August 9th is when it would be.
The end of it is,
That we have to have the person hired.
right, do they have to be hired and sworn in or just by the,
It has to be, we have to have a new we have to have a new trustee
so
on
we,
August
So I
9th.
wouldn't wait 40, I wouldn't.
we
give
don't want to
people
wait
40
60 days.
Yeah. So we should probably open for letters of interest tomorrow.
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 Open tomorrow and go till,
Mhm. We need to get it filled.
Let's do 20.
How are you going to?
oh.
June, July.
Get us through the 4th, right?
15.
So time and date for interviews. So how much time are you thinking? 3 weeks for applications to come in?
15 days?
But you got a bunch of people banging on the door.
Giving some people who might be on vacation a chance.
Yeah,
to
no,
come
I
back.
think like July 12th. It gets you through the
Close
4th of
15 days,
July.
only puts you June 25th. 15 days only puts you June 25th.
That's the Friday on that, next the week after the 4th.
That's about a month.
You could give us all the applications that comes to special meeting to approve as hires.
30 days puts us July 10th.
Is that when the interviews will start then? Is that what you're saying?
So we need to close it and have maybe a week to set up interviews. Right.
Do we have to close it though? Can't we accept
That's a good point. Doesn't say
accept
that, it just says when we can
applications
do
until
interviews.
filled? Don't we
Yeah.
do that for?
So basically we have to have it done by August 9th. So when do you want to do interviews?
Yeah.
Give a week for people, stragglers to
Last
change
week
their
for
mind.
July. Let's give us some time. We
So
don't.
let's look at the calendar here in July. What,
Well, I think you would want to set a closing date so that people know that they
Yes.
have to have it in so
Right.
that they can do the interview.
Mhm.
You can vote as a board to extend that at a special meeting where we also hire people.
24th, July 24th
Now
is
you're
a
gonna have a
Wednesday.
special meeting. Somewhere before. Next
So
meeting.
there's other wheels in motion there too, right? Because we have to make sure the county superintendent's available to swear them in,
Right.
whatever period we leave
They
ourselves
have
at the end.
They have 15 days after that to get sworn in. After we say you're on the board, then they have 15
Oh,
days.
so we're
to do it.
good then.
They can just go onto his
They
office.
can
and-
vote and do all that stuff. Okay.
That's what Rocky did. Rocky
Yeah.
just went into his office.
Just go into John's office.
That was like a year ago. I remember.
Closing on the 12th. Next meeting. 12th.
Okay, so when are you thinking you want to do interviews?
Did you say July 23rd?
July 24th is a Wednesday, just for reference.
July 24th is a Thursday. July 23rd. is
It's a Wednesday. I have, at least is on my calendar. Highlight birthday.
Wednesday in mine too.
Back in the right year, that might help. I think our board meetings did, that's where I was at.
panicking.
No,
Well, I'm sorry.
So July 24th is what day?
Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
July 4th?
July 24th.
24th?
24th.
Wednesday.
I'm lost.
Have a full day that day, but
I would really think that we should do it the week before.
On the
I don't
17th.
think we should wait until July 24th to do interviews.
So like the 17th,
Mhm.
middle of the week.
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's a
17th
good
is
week for
good.
me because I'm not gonna travel that week.
Yeah, July 17th.
that's also the week of our board meeting, just FYI.
15th is the.
So you want to do 2 meetings that week?
I think it's gonna be quick.
Okay, so like a 5, 6 o'clock meeting again, or what are we doing?
The July meeting's going to be quick.
July 17th meeting to approve the trustee.
We have to start budgeting though.
Can we do the, like at 6 in case you guys get applicants that work till 5?
Yeah.
Always fun to call them and be like, can you take off work? Couldn't do this
Just to
interview.
get you ready for what that's gonna be.
You may or may not have the job.
Okay.
So would their applications be due by the 12th? Is that what you guys decided?
Sure. Are they due to the superintendent or are they due to Steve Garber?
It says qualified candidate individuals to submit a letter of interest to the board chair.
That's what we did last time.
That's what we did
Okay.
last time.
So let me just read this roughly here. We'll have letters of interest for the position due on July 12th. And the date and time for interviews will be July 17th at 6 o'clock PM.
At 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Sounded like a motion, I'll second it.
Well, I'm just looking at the proposed deadlines, timelines underneath there, making sure if there's anything else we need to fill in.
Yeah, it gives us the flexibility to move it out if we need to.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I just make a motion?
You can't.
You can't. That's why I'm out of practice.
You can second it, but you can't make it.
Here's the dates. Somebody.
So applications due July 12th and interviews scheduled for Wednesday, July 17th at 6 PM.
There you go.
Okay, I'll make the motion. I move to allow letters of interest for the open board position to be due July 12th, whereas letters of interest can be dropped off at the district office, faxed to the district office, emailed to board chair, or mailed to district office, and set date and time for interviews on Wednesday, July 17th at 6 PM.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? Bringing it back to the board, any board comment? Hearing none, comes back to a vote. All in favor of approving the plan for the trustee vacancy, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. And that is the end of our meeting. Thank you, everybody.
So you're going to post this tomorrow? Where are you posting it? On the website?
Where we